Yesterday I received a very interesting, others would call it disturbing comment. Men shouldn't talk about knitting. You will be killed in our country for that. It's still early in the morning here. I barely had my first cup of tea, but I wanted to shoot a quick video about that because I felt this is an issue I really need to address. The username was I am the light of the world, so apparently a devout Christian. Interesting. I mean, wasn't it man who furnished the temple with purple, crimson, and violet fabrics? And wasn't Jesus a craftsman and a teacher himself? I mean, the last time I checked at least. And I mean, if you were to take the Bible a little bit too literal and out of its historic context, then women probably should not work at all, but, care and educate their family. But, maybe I missed that part where Ruth returned to Bethlehem to start a successful YouTube business. But I don't know. Also, it seems to me that killing anyone for a private hobby they entertain within their homes is utterly ridiculous, no matter the context. I mean, if I was doing chainsaw sculpture early on Sunday morning or late on a Wednesday night, well, we could talk. In fact, I would say killing anyone, I don't think there is a single justification to kill another human being. Not a single reason, period. And, last time I checked, killing anyone is not exactly what any member of one of the Abrahamic religions should do. And, if you look across the globe, Amaterasu didn't come out of her cave to check who was making that annoying knitting sound. And for all I know, the Buddha didn't go to Sri Lanka to put down a local uprising of knitting. I mean, I know Moses is long dead, but it still seems to me that you should not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain or lightly. And by the way, please, can someone forward this to this part of the book of Exodus to Moscow? I got the impression they misplaced it momentarily. Setting scripture aside. And the fact that I, of course, reported this comment. Let's take a closer look at the issue at hand. Should men knit? Well, first of all, I would like to know which country that would be. I can only assume this is more about my presumed sexuality, but that would be even sadder. But back to knitting. Well, historically speaking, men have always been knitting. The knitting guilds in the medieval times that started around 1300 were run by men, of course, by men. Though knitting also has been a favorite pastime of aristocratic women. Things only started to change in the 19th century when men had to go to the factory and work long hours and weren't crofters or fishermen anymore that needed to mend their nets or garments while at sea. But even today, if you were to visit the tiny island of Taquil in Peru, by the way, how do you pronounce that? Any people from South America or Peru watching? Tell me. Taquil is a tiny island on Lake Titicaca, very, very beautiful. And there you would find out that it's the men who knit while the women do the weaving. And in fact, a man cannot marry a woman before he did not finish a hat, a very delicate hat, with such a fine gauge that if you pour water into the hat, not a single drop seeps out. The women, by the way, have to weave a belt, a very intricate belt using their own hair. Last but certainly not least, let's talk about the most important bit here. These days we are talking about gender equality. women should be able to earn the same kind of money if they do the same job. They should be able to apply for the same jobs. They should be able to become president, sit on the Supreme Court, or be the CEO of an S&P 500 company. But let me ask you a question. If men can't do certain things, if men have to act tough, never do the supposedly womanish things, well, how can they not turn out to be toxic alpha males in the end? So please, 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 the next time you judge someone and say, men, well, most often it's boys shouldn't do that. They shouldn't knit, they shouldn't do ballet or stay inside and read. They should go out and play football or wrestle or something like that. Know then that you are actively in the process of making the lives of your future daughters miserable, or more miserable than it needs to be. Equality has to run both ways. And I'm not saying that my YouTube channel or me knitting is a political act. I really enjoy this hobby, but really we have to get away from men should do this and women should do this. I at least will continue knitting, and I do hope if you are not a woman, or maybe just a young woman that knits in public and still gets weird glances here and there, you will continue too. I actually do get quite some comments from men who are worried about knitting in public or knitting at all. Luckily, I can assure you, and I have been doing this for quite some time, here in Europe, sitting in a cafe house in Vienna, but also in the Middle East or on a plane or in public places like, I don't know, the city office or something like that. The only thing that ever happened is that people approached me and told me how amazing they thought that is. Personally, I would say it's not amazing. What's amazing about knitting? I mean, it's an amazing hobby. But men knitting, what's amazing about that? It should be, and it is, quite normal. Actually, and to be quite truthful, having a fulfilling hobby is rare these days. Sadly, too many young people waste their time on Netflix and endlessly scrolling through social media, hunting for a cute pet video. I know, I mean, it's a bit ironic that I'm saying this here on YouTube, but still, if there is anything worth fighting for these days, then I might argue it's that and not men teaching knitting. Anyway, I'll go and prepare me some breakfast. You tell me what you think about this issue, and as always, happy knitting, and you at least enjoy the rest of your day.